Hello, welcome to the plot Malaysia. This is our 20th episode. This is our show for the fans.
By the fans.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. My goodness. What an episode we're going to be having today. An amazing episode. Well, the match was supposed to happen yesterday. It didn't happen. And today is all about, the protest that happened outside Old Trafford. And we will also be giving you a few updates on the roundup of the weekend's matches. Hari, how are you feeling about the cancellation of the big game? How are you feeling, man?
Of course, I mean, I'm disappointed the game was cancelled, but I think it was, in all honesty, we've been talking about it as well. It was the right thing to do. The protest, I mean, I've got to give applause to the United fans because they did carry out the protest. There were good numbers there.
Yep.
In general, it was quite peaceful. There may have been one or two who went over the mark, but in general, it was quite peaceful. And yeah, I mean, it was so. I mean, kudos to United fans, man, because even though the game was cancelled, but yeah, it was for a good cause, man. In all honesty, it was for the long term of the long-term good of the game. So, but I think I'm going to reverse the question to you, man, Ram. Today, let me take on the role of chief host. You tell me how you're feeling as a United fan. Tell me a bit about tell our viewers a bit about the protests. What happened?
Mhm.
Why did it happen? Why you guys Glazers out as well? Maybe give a bit of context to that as well, and just tell me how you feel, man.
Mm. Oh, thanks a lot, Hari. I think the unity is the one thing that really gets to my mind. I think, regardless of whether you're a Liverpool fan, United fan, or any football fan, I think the management of a football team doesn't matter big or small. It has to be done right. And again, it doesn't matter which background you're from, which nationality you're from. If you respect the game of football, you have to do it right. So, how I feel about it is, of course, I'm very proud to be a Man United fan. I think I've always been a very proud Man United fan, but yesterday made me even prouder because seeing, the protests happening. I mean, can you imagine, Harry? It's Man United v Liverpool. Okay, it's a big game. I think the world of football, the media that was present there, Sky Sports, whatever, what have you, they were all there. Investors were all ready for the game. Sponsors were all ready for the game, but it did not happen. Now, that showed that the fans actually had a voice. And that showed
Our
that because the fans, yeah, it's the power of the fans. And indeed, it is for the fans by the fans, And the way I look at it, right? I mean, the players had also respect for the fans. The manager had respect for the fans. And whether the game was called off or not, what they did was absolutely phenomenal because Gary Neville said it was the principle. The protest had the principle of actually making sure, okay, that it is done the right way. It is done to make sure that it is for a good cause. And as you said, it was a very peaceful protest. Some idiots, as what Jamie Carragher said, there were some idiots that probably caused a bit of a problem, that probably impacted the possibility of the match being delayed. But it's okay. I think 99%, as they say, was very peaceful. So how I feel, I'm very proud, and I'm very happy to take this stand because I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think it's going to be more coming forward. I think, this is where all football fans will unite in the future, and you will see that, future owners, and even the Glazers for now, they will have something to think about. And I'm very happy that the fans took that stand. And I honestly feel I was there. I wish I was there, man.
I can
I
imagine, man.
actually, yeah. And I did some. I was watching some YouTube channels. The United Stand, Adam McCullough TV, the Kickoff. I was watching all these channels, and I actually commented on their channels, and I said I wish I was there. Kudos to the United fans in Manchester because we're sending them a lot of love. So lots of love to the fans in Manchester. If you're watching this, we are definitely with you on this, and we want to see better things coming our way. So yeah, that's how I basically feel, Harry.
Awesome, man. Awesome. What do you think about the game at the end of the day being postponed?
Mhm. Oh, what? Okay. At first, I thought it was going to be delayed.
Yeah. I mean, we all
To
stayed
be
awake
honest.
extra. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, okay, a few hours is going to be delayed. But there is a reason why, this was postponed because there is a motive that has been done by the fans. So what I've understood from all the reports that came in, or of course, when I was watching Sky Sports, while they were actually filling the gap for the
Yeah,
time
yeah,
before
yeah.
the
Big
match
gap, big
could
gap. Yep,
possibly start. A big gap, yeah.
yep.
So I think the fans basically had enough, in my opinion. I think this particular ESL possibility of ESL happening was definitely an accumulative anger that the
Yeah,
fans
yeah,
had.
yeah, yeah.
So
The push
yeah,
the fans over the cliff, like. Yep. There was a moment. Yep, yep,
yes,
yep.
exactly. Like what Gary Neville said, if you have people who are good in football, leave them to play the football, leave them to do the football. And of course, Ed Woodward, and so on, they are good at the marketing side of things, the selling side of things. Those are two different departments. Okay, they should not interfere at all. And in this case, it has interfered very badly, and that's why it has been very, very messy. So,
Yep,
with the game being postponed, is a big statement. It's a
yep.
big statement to the Glazers. Okay, it's a big statement for the fact that the fans want to dampen, okay, any sort of financial gain for the Glazers. Okay, and that is what it if that is what it takes, to win at the end of the day. I think the fans will do it. It doesn't matter like what Mark Goldbridge was saying in the United Stand. He said that even if United end up dropping points, in the campaign, I think that's not going to be an issue, because end of the day, we want Glazers out. So match postponed or not, fantastic result. I don't care. I'm really happy. And I'm sure, Harry, you must be feeling happy as well, because the statement will run through not just in Manchester, but across England and, of course, across football in general as well.
Yeah, I mean, giving a take from my side. I mean, you're spot on what you said, man, Ram,
Mm,
and it's good to get your perspective, right, as a United fan. But me, I
mm,
mean, from my perspective, I mean, like I said, it was United fans demonstrating. But just to give you a perspective from a Liverpool fan,
mm.
uh, it was really good to see. I think United fans have been trying to protest since 2005. I think once when the Glazers bought the club, uh, they had the green and gold
Hmm.
statement as well, right? The green and gold jerseys, the colors. Uh,
Yep. Yep.
and the move that they started. So, but
Yep.
I think the Glazers are. I mean, these businessmen, these multi-billion-dollar businessmen like the Glazers from the States, it doesn't bother them. These small protests don't
Mhm.
bother them. Right? At the end of the
Yep.
day, the impact, the only way you can impact them is through money, through finances,
Yes.
and through the reputation. They don't like their reputation being tarnished, and of
Yep.
course their pockets being affected. Now, the game like that
Yes.
being cancelled, I mean, like I said, no issues whatsoever. In fact, for the longer term
Mm.
gain of the the long term game of the Premier League and for football in general, it was the right thing because finally the
Yeah.
protest counted. It hit them hard. It's the biggest game in the
Hmm.
world, so from a financial
Yep.
standpoint, really hit them hard. People were
Hmm.
waiting to watch the game, so it's affected their reputation. Youngsters were
Hmm.
looking to watch the game will be thinking, why were these fans protesting? They'll probably go and read up, watch a channel like ours just to understand. So more people become aware of what the damage they have done. It affects their
Yep.
reputation and their pockets as well. So I think
Yep. Yep.
it was the right thing to happen for the greater good of the game. Uh, and yeah, I mean, of course, it's only a start. There's a lot more that's needed, but the right start, I think. The other thing that was
Yep.
really nice to see was, the United fans were saying, I think they stopped the team boarding the bus and stuff like that, even outside the hotel. And they kept chanting, "You will play when we tell you to play or when we want you to play." And that
Yep.
shows the
Yep.
power of the fans, right? Football is nothing
Yep.
without the
Yep.
fans. There is no football club without
Yes.
fans. And that's a clear message.
Exactly.
You play when we want you to play. So I think
Yep.
it's a loud message to
Absolutely.
the owners. When we don't want to watch you, you don't play. You don't earn money. You get
Yeah.
nothing from this club.
Yep.
So I think that
Exactly.
was a brilliant stand by the United fans. So like I said, kudos to them. Uh,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean, I'm
Kudos.
looking forward to the game. It's postponed. It's going to happen anyway. So maybe it allows us to get into a bit of form as well before we beat you. So all good, man. All good. All good. All good. And it was for a good cause, man, Ram. So yeah, I mean, kudos to you guys and congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Haria. But before we move on to the next segment of the show, I do want to
Mm,
say something as well.
mm,
If you can see the backdrop behind me,
yeah.
I just really wanted to put this on because I think it's a very bold statement, and I think it's good for all United fans out there. So I'm gonna move aside. Let you see the whole thing, Harry. Okay,
Sure, sure, sure.
Glazers out,
Green and gold until
green
the club
and
is cold.
gold. So
Until the club is
yes,
sold.
that's right. Until
The
the club
one,
is sold.
the
So
one thing,
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Ram. Finish up. Yep.
No, no. I was just going to say that now with the game being postponed, obviously it's going to impact the pockets of the Glazers for sure. But what I can tell you is going to happen next. Okay, obviously merchandise sales is going to drop. I can see that happening. The new jersey is going to come out very very soon. I can see the fans, those who are really really protesting, will not really get into it. And of course, once they allow fans to go back into the stadiums, I can foresee that the fans may boycott watching games at Old Trafford. So if the Glazers think that this is a small thing, or I'm so scared, being sarcastic or whatever they want to be, trust me, the fans have so much power in England. You mess with them, trust me, they are going to make sure you go down to hell. So I'm just
I think
looking forward to see what happens
I
next.
think it's England and globally as well. I think more and more fans are
Yes,
getting
globally,
educated
yes,
globally as well. So in the way
yes,
you can impact things is through merchandising, right? Spending on
yes,
merchandising, spending on a lot of on international memberships, etc., for the club, right?
yes,
So those are the ways you can
yep.
hold things back. I mean, one point I'd like to bring up though.
Mm,
Listening to a bit of the Sky, as you said, commentary or the analysis while they were trying to fill up the gap. There was one thing that disappointed me as a Liverpool fan. So this is one thing I like to bring
yeah.
up. I know he's a club
Mm-hmm,
legend for you guys, but I think there was
mm-hmm.
something Gary Neville kept bringing up yesterday, which I wasn't very happy about, and that was he kept
Okay.
involving Liverpool owners FSG a number of times in the
Mm-hmm,
conversation. There is
mm-hmm.
no place for him to interfere in that. Number one,
Okay. Okay.
he doesn't know the Liverpool fans' feeling towards the owners, etc. But involving them while an united protest is happening for the Glazers and constantly
Mm-hmm,
bringing them up as if they're equal
mm-hmm,
villains, I think. I mean, like
mm-hmm.
I said, it's not a place for him to involve them
Okay.
involve them in a situation like that. As Liverpool fans,
Mm-hmm,
yes, we're very disappointed with what FSG did. Uh,
mm-hmm.
and a few of their decisions in the past which they've apologized for as well. So it's too many mistakes. So yes, but we're not at the stage where you guys are at least not from my perspective,
Mm-hmm,
where we want them out. Simple reason is
mm-hmm.
because I mean, we're having a meeting. So the Spirit of Shankly Group, who represent the
Mm-hmm.
fans in Liverpool, I actually have a meeting with the CEO who's agreed to meet with them. They're going to discuss fan representation on the board, etc. So we want to wait and see how that discussion goes before we take next steps about protests, etc. The other thing is Liverpool
Mm-hmm.
had horrible owners before the current owners. Probably the worst of
Mm-hmm.
the lot. They were worse than the Glazers, Hicks and Gillette. We were a few days away
Mm-hmm.
from going into administration and going broke and not even having a club anymore, right? So they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
horrible. So for us, these
Mm-hmm.
owners are still way better. And you got to be
Okay.
careful. You got to be careful for what you ask for. They sell up. Who buys
Mm-hmm.
the club? Do we get another Hicks and Gillette?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is,
Mm-hmm.
these owners, as the FSG, have not been as bad as the Glazers. I mean, I've heard, for example,
Okay.
that the Glazers haven't invested in the maintenance of your stadium, renovating the stadium,
Yep.
Old
Yep.
Trafford.
Mm-hmm.
There are leaks. They haven't
Yep.
invested in the training ground. FSG have
Yep.
renovated our stadium. They've expanded our stadium. They have invested in a
Mm-hmm.
new training ground. They have
Mm-hmm.
invested money to ensure that we win the Champions League, won the Premier League. They brought Klopp to the club as well. So we're not at that
Okay.
state yet. So I think that's the only thing I want to point out. No, I think a lot of
Sure.
good things were discussed yesterday, but I think Gary Neville didn't have to go down that route. It's not a place for him,
Okay.
and
Okay. Fair.
yeah,
Fair,
yep,
fair enough, Harry. I think you have definitely, of course, a Liverpool fan. You know exactly how the club is, what the club is doing. So
yep,
obviously, you know better. So and of course, the players who are involved with the club
yep,
and the manager, they would know better as well. But I think, having said what you said, I'm just gonna say this, right? I think the frustration is over the tip of the iceberg. Like I said, is about the
mm,
ESL
mm,
possibility of the ESL. So I know that the current owners FSG for Liverpool, they're not as bad as Glazers.
mm,
To put it that way, to put it simply, but
yep.
they all had a common goal, which is to have the ESL.
Yeah, but
So
but exactly like you said, it was the tip of the iceberg for United, and 100%
yep,
understand because they have been
yep,
horrible owners for United.
yep,
They've
yep.
dropped you all into debt, heavy debt as well.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
for us, I don't think it's the absolute tip yet. It's a bad mistake, and I think Liverpool fans in
Okay,
general, not speaking for all
okay.
of them, but in general, because they've done
Mm,
quite a bit of good as well, and we had
mhm,
owners that were horrible before them, so we don't know who's coming in next if they sell up. Uh, we
right.
want to give them a chance. So we want to see how that discussion
Mhm,
goes with Spirit of Shankly and see if they agree to some
yep.
terms, see what their next move is. We're
Mhm,
not at the point yet like United, where it's the absolute tip of the iceberg. So that's the only thing I'll say. Yep.
Okay, and I'm going to end off by saying this. I think I know it was wrong for Gary to mention about Liverpool's owners. I think he should have just focused on the Glazers
Exactly.
point
That was a
blank.
topic of discussion. Yeah.
And if Jamie Carragher wanted to bring it up, it's fine. But it shouldn't be in Gary Neville's place. But however, if I were to tell you something I mean, you are a Liverpool fan. If I were to tell you something, I think the fact that Gary mentioned it on the air, okay, definitely is a reminder, okay, to these owners that, hey, if you don't buckle up, if you don't buck up, okay, things could happen, and you could go down south.
Yep.
So I think in a way, I know what you're saying. I understand that it shouldn't have been brought up that way, but I think as a football fan, I think having said that on the air on Sky Sports, putting their names there, I think something will probably go into their heads and say, thank God, we are not in that position, and thank God that we can repair it before it becomes even worse.
Yeah, I think the way to sum it
So
up, is, uh, if I
yeah.
was a United fan, I would 100%
Mm.
want Glazers out. So Glazers out
Yep.
100%. I think for you guys, I think Kroenke out for Arsenal fans 100% understand as well. He's run them into the
Definitely.
ground.
Yeah.
I think as
Yep.
Liverpool fans, we want change from our owners. We want them to change. We
Hmm.
want them to make tough decisions,
Yeah.
but we're not
Yep.
out yet. We don't want them out yet.
Yep.
We want them to make strong decisions and change. So we're giving them that chance, basically. If they
I
don't,
think I
if
think
they don't do what we
I
want
think
them to do,
yeah.
then yes, then we get to that stage. Yep.
I think having said that, Harry, they will change because of what Gary mentioned yesterday. I think they will change
Yeah.
for the better.
Fingers
So
fingers crossed, man.
possibilities there.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. Awesome, awesome,
Yep.
awesome. Great discussion, Ram. I think, guys,
Yeah.
we want to now. I think we want to move on to sum up the results for the weekend. We're just going to give a quick recap of the results from the weekend. So I don't know how many of the games you caught this weekend, Ram. I caught a few.
I caught a
Can
few
you
as well.
All right, brilliant. So I'll start off with Southampton, Leicester. It finished 1-1. I
Yeah.
believe Southampton had a red card early on.
Mhm.
Was a controversial red card as well, but they still
Yep.
took the lead and Leicester came back. So I think Leicester have opened a little bit of a door now for teams chasing the Champions
Yeah.
League spots. So that'll be interesting. We then had Crystal Palace, Man City. Did you see that? Did you catch that one?
Oh, to me, expected City,
Yeah.
2-0 winners.
Sergio Aguero scored
Yep.
and 2-0 to
Mhm.
City. Brighton versus Leeds 2-0. So I think Brighton is safe now. They're confirmed safe. Danny Welbeck scored a very special goal, actually. You got to watch the second goal, Ram. It was a really good goal. Brought back the years.
Okay.
And then, so catch that, guys. Chelsea versus Fulham finished 2-0. 2 goals for Kai Havertz. Very interesting, right? So Kai Havertz played as the main focal point. I think Timo Werner played off him on the left, and it worked. Havertz scored 2
I think you
goals
said it
there.
before. You mentioned about something about
Yeah.
him before in our previous episodes, and
Yeah.
I think you're right, man. He is coming through.
Yeah, he should play, I think, that false nine or the forward line for them. I think he's good there. Everton
Yep.
versus Villa. Everton lost at home. Again, they keep losing at home. 1-2, the result. Newcastle, Arsenal. This one,
Oh,
I mean, Arsenal is one of the most inconsistent teams in the league, but they won 2-0.
that
Goals.
was a game that was unbelievable, man. It was
I didn't see the game.
unbelievable
Did Arsenal play really well, though?
Dude, Arsenal played so well. Newcastle barely had a chance the whole
Oh, wow.
match.
Credit
Like
Arsenal then, yeah.
literally. So Arsenal they were phenomenal, okay?
Oh, fantastic.
In their passing and their movements. So yeah, Arsenal played very well yesterday.
Fair play. 2 goals. One from Mohamed El Neni and the other one from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And then the last game, which took place yesterday or early this morning, was Tottenham, Sheffield United. And yeah, man, who needs Jose Mourinho? 4-0
Yep.
4-0 to Spurs. Our friend BC is very happy, I'm sure.
He's very happy. BC, this goes out to you, man.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you. A hat trick for Gareth Bale as well, and some fantastic goals. All 3 goals were brilliant by Gareth Bale, actually. So catch that, guys. And then the last goal by Son Heung-min was brilliant. He's one of my favorite players. If Liverpool ever look to sign someone to maybe provide competition to Bobby Firmino, I would love Son Heung-min. So that's a roundup of this weekend's results, guys. Another couple of games tonight. I think there's really nothing much to play for in those games. The big only thing that's open right now is the Champions League places. I think 3rd and 4th. Everything else seems to be pretty much done and dusted, man.
Yep.
Awesome. Guys, listen, we're going to come back soon with some really good content over the next few days. Keep a watch
Yep.
out. There's some interesting guests coming on the show as well in the near future.
Yep. Very, very interesting. Definitely. Yes. Looking forward to it, man.
Awesome. But till then, guys, I mean, subscribe. Please subscribe to the show. Leave your comments. We want to hear from you
Yep.
about the protests, about the roundup of the weekend's results as well. Hit the like
Mhm.
button, and yeah, stay tuned.
That's the way to
Stay
go. That's
tuned
the
for more
way.
content. Yep.
Stay tuned for more content. So here we are signing off from the plot. This is the show for the fans.
It's all about the fans, as proven yesterday again. Ah,
Glazers out. Ah, yes, Glazers out.
cheers,
Yes.
guys. Cheers, Ram.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers, Harry.